Salutations, gamers. I'm the OgichiGame, and welcome back to the MLP, or the animation tutorial series. Right. This is part 3, I believe, and today I'm going to be going back over masking. Sorry about that. I'm going to be going back over masking, switch layers, and lip syncing. Now, previously, I talked about masking, but I don't think that I explained it very well or in depth. So, to do that, I'm going to, you can see here now, you'll notice that these things kind of come outside of the borders of where they're supposed to be, because with the eyes, we have masking groups within a masking group, which for whatever reason has this weird effect. I wish they would fix it, but for now it hasn't really been fixed, but it's okay because if you do render it, it does all fit within the boundaries that you have set. And I actually think I need to extend this mask by a pixel. Yes, there we go, that looks a lot better anyway. But anyway, I didn't really explain what a mask is, which I will now. So, to do so, we're going to need a group. We need a group in order to create a masking layer. We're just going to call this masking. Okay? Now we're going to need at least two, we're going to need at least two different vectors within the group. We're going to need a masking base, and we're going to be needing the thing which is masked. Okay, so, as I told you before, if you double-click on the group layer, you can go up to this tab called Masking. Once you click on it, all you have to do is click Hide All to hide all. Okay? And apply. What that does is this bottom layer then becomes a masking base. However, you don't really have to have it that way if you don't want to. You can actually have vectors below it. It doesn't necessarily have to be the bottom. It's not automatic. You can select it, and I'll show you how. If you were to right-click on any of these groups, now if you'll notice, I can't really zoom in on it, but if you'll notice there's a little plus sign here and a circle here. I don't know what it is in Flash if you're using Flash, but in Anime Studio, that's what they give you. If you right-click on it, you will notice that this is Add to Mask, and it is checked, meaning that it is in fact, well, part of the mask. But you can also add to mask, but keep invisible, subtract from mask, this layer will be invisible, clear the mask, and then add this layer to it, or clear the mask and add this layer invisibly to it. There's also mask this layer and don't mask this layer. Mask this layer, sorry. I'm talking a little quickly and because I have a lot to get through. Now, automatically all the layers above the bottom one will be made into masked layers. And if you were to add a new vector, it will also, as you see here, be part of the mask. But we can easily right-click it and say, don't mask this layer. But what exactly does that mean and what does it do? Well, first of all, if we were to create, let's say, a circle, okay? Now we have this circle. Let's bring it over here. So we have a circle, okay? And let's say that we want something to be masked, okay? Now what does that mean? We don't want whatever this vector is leaving this circle. So let's make another circle, okay, and let's make its color red, and have no stroke, okay? Now if we move it within the circle, you will notice that it is visible. Now, it is only visible inside this other circle, which is the masking base, okay? Once we take it and start to move it out of the circle, you will notice that it will start to disappear. Now, it will also extend itself to go onto the stroke. But if you don't want that, you can simply remove the stroke entirely, or you can double-click into the masking base and go to Exclude Strokes, check it, and apply. And now you will notice that it no longer will go into the lines. It will stay within it. It will stay within all of it. See? I hope that makes sense. Anyway, moving on. we will now talk about switch layers and lip syncing. Yes, my mind's a little flustered right now. Anyway, so hopefully my explanation of masking helped. I might talk more about masking later if it's necessary, but that should help you understand how the eyes basically work, as you can see with this. Now, we're going to talk about switch layers and lip syncing, which in my opinion really just go hand in hand. So, as you should know, lip syncing is where you take a voice and you have to match the motions of the mouth to the voice, okay? So, if we open up this Pinkie Pie layer, you go to muzzle, you'll notice that we have this, which is called a switch layer. You can create a switch layer by creating a group layer, right-clicking it, and convert to switch. Okay? Now, what exactly does a switch layer mean? Well, within a switch layer, which is essentially a group layer, it holds a bunch of different vectors like a group layer. However, unlike a group layer, by right-clicking on this layer, by right-clicking on this group, you can then go through the entire list of all the vectors that you have inside of the group, and simply, well, just grab them. You can just click on them. You can simply right-click and then click on one of these, and it will immediately go to that vector. It will switch to that vector. Okay? Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. So all I have to do, again, make a group, convert to switch, create some vectors. Okay? I put the vectors in the switch, and I can switch between them, and all the others are invisible. See? They are not visible, only the one. And it's very helpful for lip syncing. I do believe that Flash has something like this. If it does not, I have heard that. I don't know what the current versions of Flash have, but I do know that in some of the previous versions that there is like a switch layers mod or something that you can add to it. And if you do not have switch layers in your current version of Flash, whatever that version is, I highly suggest looking up additional tools, whatever they're called for Flash, mods or whatever, that can give you switch layers. They are extremely helpful, make things so much faster, especially when it comes to lip syncing once again. Now, I have an audio clip in here, which is right here. Now, in Anime Studio, it's very easy to create a import audio. Okay? Importing audio is pretty simple. All you have to do is go up to File, Import, and then import audio file right here. See? Very simple. Now, when we play the audio file, you'll hear it.
There! Now you look like a pirate. A sleepy pirate with a really weird mane cut.
It's just some audio that I have from the show. I'm not the one who originally recorded the audio, but I managed to find it, and I'm just going to be using it for the tutorial, for these tutorial purposes. And it is Pinkie Pie talking, so it makes sense. So, when we go through all this different sound, okay, we need to sync it up, each frame with a different sound, basically, because people talk, their mouths move quite a lot. Now, if you don't know anything about mouth layers or anything, I do have a bit of a cheat sheet here, which you can actually probably find pretty easily by looking up MLP. If you look up MLP lip sync, you should be able to find something at least similar to this, which is basically just a bunch of the different mouth layers that exist. The smile ones, anyway, not the frown ones, but the smile ones. However, I think, to make things a little easier on some people, I'm going to create my own cheat sheet of all the different sides, because this is actually TQ or 3Q or whatever it's called side, which is this side. But I actually have mouth layers for all of the 5 sides that you can create. So I'll create a cheat sheet for that myself and include it in a link in the description, hopefully, if I remember. If not, please remind me, and I will create it. It won't take me very long to make it. But anyway, so about lip syncing, now that you understand switch layers, hopefully. If not, then please tell me, and I will go back over them. But anyway, so, do you hear that? The very first sound that Pinkie Pie makes at the beginning of this clip is a TH sound, which I have a TH vector. So all I have to do is I click the TH vector, it switches to the TH vector, and automatically Anime Studio creates a keyframe for my switch layer for me, which is very helpful. Okay? Then and again, mouths are a bit complicated in the way that they move around, okay? Now, there are a lot of different mouth shapes that your mouth makes, and you can make quite a few. You could make all of them if you wanted to be really complicated, but My Little Pony doesn't use all of the mouth shapes, though. Again, if I were to show you the sheet again, this is just, they have A, C, O, F, V, L, B, and TH. Although this B is not really a B that they use often for B. Mostly you just use the closed mouth for B. But you could use this for an exaggerated B if you wanted to. And then, of course, a TH again. However, there are quite a few more mouths than this that you can have, but MLP just uses these ones. A closed A, C, O, F, V, L, B, and TH. Now, they have done some weird mouths before, but those are not typical. This is most of what they use for their speaking, for the lip syncing. Most of what they use. And so, if they can use only that, so can we. But anyway, if you wanted to have more mouths, you could just as easily make them yourself. If you look up online, lip sync, or whatever, you'll, in a Google image search, you will probably find quite a few images of a huge variety of different mouth shapes that can be made to make lip syncing a bit easier. But anyway, so moving on, so the TH is the first sound that Pinkie Pie makes, right? Then we go from TH, she's saying there, so let's see what next sound comes up. So she starts going into the E sound, as you'll hear. She goes on the second frame here. So we'll go to A1. Yes, A1 I think should work. And she's continuing with the E sound, the there part, so we'll just make it bigger with A2. Or actually, she's a bit exaggerated, so let's go immediately to A3. We'll jump from A1 to A3. Because she goes like a soft to see, so. And then she goes to an R sound. Or actually, let's see. We could go immediately to. Let's try. Well, there. Probably need to go to an O3. Actually, with a front, we could probably do a C. They or. So you basically get the idea. We're basically just trying to.
There!
We're basically just adding a bunch of keyframes, following along with the sounds that she makes with her mouth, and trying to make and trying to give the right vectors from the switch layer as we go along, okay? Makes enough sense. Hopefully. And I'm sure you can figure it out. If you're having a bit of trouble... Oh, terribly sorry. Something fell on the floor. If you're having a bit of trouble, something that you can do is simply speak with the audio, whatever it is you might have. So, she says... What is it?
Now you look like a pirate. A sleepy pirate with a really weird mane cut.
So something you could do is, like, the first word she says, there, so say there, and see how your mouth moves. Look in a mirror, say it slowly, there, and kind of get an idea of how the mouth moves. And then, after you do all that, you will eventually start to figure out how which vectors you're going to need for where. When you're all finished, and I have another layer here which I can show you, the 3Q, which is the one that most people like to use. Once you're all finished, maybe, hopefully, it might look a bit something like this. And again, we're just doing the lip syncing, not doing any of the head bobbing or anything that makes it more, gives it more character. But we might talk about that next time. But for now, we're just going to talk about the lip syncing again. So
there! Now you look like a pirate. A sleepy pirate with a really weird mane cut. There! Now you look like a pirate. A sleepy pirate with a really weird mane cut.
So now you can basically see how the mouth follows along with all of this. So we have a bunch of different keyframes here, all for the lip syncing. So I showed you before, the TH at the beginning goes to A, larger A, an even bigger A, then goes to an O sound to represent the R, and then a C to kind of end the R hard. And then we go to a smile because she stopped talking. Then it picks up back again after she says there, to there, now, and she starts saying now. So we do C to represent an N sound. And then the ah, because she now kind of has a bit of an A in there before the O. So it goes now, and now we go into the O sound. So now, and then very briefly we have her mouth completely closed to separate the now from the U. Then we go to start U with an A sound for the Y. Y, ooh. Then, of course, look has an L. Goes from L to O to C for the K. And then L again for like, like that. See? And again, that's basically just how you follow through. And in the end, again, it just looks like this.
You look like a pirate. A sleepy pirate with a really weird mane cut. There!
Okay. So hopefully this was helpful. And again, I will try to provide an image for you to help you with your mouth layers. Yeah, so again, if you like this episode, hit like on it. Otherwise, I'll see all of you in the next one. Bye-bye! Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked that video, make sure to hit like on it and share it with your friends. Otherwise, hit subscribe for more awesomeness from the channel.